Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
Aaron Antis, you and your brother run Oklahoma's largest home building company and the largest home building company in this studio, ShawHomes.com.
Yeah.
As the largest home builder in Oklahoma, in your mind, does that mean you're the number one home builder in Oklahoma?
Yes, that does mean that to me.
Do you care at all about your safety? Is that a good selling point when you're selling houses? I mean, if you were selling houses in a high crime area, would it be harder?
I actually used to do that. I was in the Metro Detroit area, and yes, that was a big issue there.
You're like, on today's model home tour, there'll be this homeless guy and you guys.
Well, it was like, we're going to go on a model home tour. Would you folks mind wearing a flak jacket, protective vest? It's a safe area, but just in case, don't pay any attention to that gang activity across the street. But anyways, yeah.
Folks, he's just sleeping on your front lawn. He won't be there all the time. He just set up camp right now and because he couldn't find a place to sleep.
I mean, just because there's a group of people drinking 40-ounces in the front lawn of the home, it's not that big of a deal.
Just because there's bars over all your windows doesn't mean you should be worried. They can't really get through.
Not really a big deal.
Most of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so safety matters.
Would you folks like the bulletproof glass upgrade?
Would you like that? We could do that for you. I mean, these are when you think about life and taking all joking aside, it's hard to focus on anything other than your safety when you don't have your safety.
That's true.
Right.
And so on today's show, we're going to do a brief interview with Mayor Craig Thurmond, the mayor of Broken Arrow. Yep. And Mayor Craig, you have some good news to share with the listeners out there. Give us we need some good news. What's some great news?
Well, great news is that we were ranked number 11 safest city by MoneyGeek.com in the country.
11th safest city.
And that's something. I mean, before we were ranked fairly high in the 20s with violent crime years ago, but now this is violent crime and property crime. We're the 11th safety. They took 300 safest city in the country. They took 303 cities that that have over 100,000 population. There's 303 cities of the 19,000 cities and towns in the country. There's 303 that have over 100,000 people, and we are number 11.
Now, maybe a great goal you could set for yourself. You could then next year try to showcase your diversity, and you could aim to be the most dangerous city in America.
Well,
you could show you're one of the safest, and you could flip it and go, look, I'm not a one-trick mayor. I could do either way.
We are adjacent to one of the most dangerous cities in the country.
Really?
The 34th most dangerous city in the country.
What's that?
It's the one that's to our west.
Oh, that would be Tulsa.
It is, yes.
Yeah. Are you serious?
Yes.
Are you talking facts right now?
Yes, they were ranked 269 safest.
Well,
which made them 34th. If you go the other way, 34th most dangerous
Let
city.
me share with you what you would need to do to make the city more unsafe. Let me just share with you what you would need to do. First off, you're going to need to defund the police. These are like pro tips for making your city. And you're going to need to side with terrorist groups funded by George Soros.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're going to need to do that. And you also, Aaron, you want to be aware of your competition. I mean, if you're aiming to be the best at something, if you want to be the best, most unsafe city, I want to just tell you who you're competing with, okay?
Yeah.
The most unsafe city in America right now is St. Louis.
St. Louis
Missouri.
is the most unsafe.
Baltimore is the second.
Second, and Detroit's number 3.
Yeah, it's the top 3.
Yeah.
So what are your keys to making Broken Arrow safe? Why is it safe? And then maybe I can give you a pro tip on how to make it less safe.
Well, I think part of the thing is being proactive, doing the proactive and community policing, and having enough staff and enough equipment, and having a culture in our police force that feels that they want to protect our citizens, and having citizens that want to participate in that protection. So that's very important. It's the combination of the citizens and the police force that make us safe.
That's awesome.
So you helped to turn Broken Arrow into the 11th safest city in America.
Yes.
Aaron, you've lived in some, you lived in Detroit, areas where they've been just destroyed by crime.
It's incredible.
What are tips? Because I know Mayor Craig's taking notes right now. This is kind of the thing where as mayor, he wants to keep it safe.
Yeah.
But he always wants to know what are the keys for making it unsafe, just in case he wants to show his diversity there and his ability to.
You're going to want to find an OG, like one of the original gangsters, and see if they could bring one of their gangs to Broken Arrow. Maybe kind of move in, get a lot of their posse with them.
They're homies.
Yeah, they're homies. And you would want to have like pretty good like trucking routes to bring drugs in. That would be helpful. I noticed this helped a lot in Detroit was the drug activity and dealing and a lot of the gang activity. I mean, that was great. It was nice when you would drive up to, I remember when I was like 10 years old, I was going into downtown Detroit with my dad, and he grew up there. So, back when it was in its heyday, and it was actually a really good place to live. And he was taking me to show me like the house he lived in when he was a little kid and stuff. And we were pulling up to these intersections, and he'd come up and it was a red light, and he would slow down and look both ways and keep going through the intersection. I never saw my dad run red lights, but he's like, yeah, if you stop at a red light, they will literally like break your window and pull you out of your car and mug you, maybe kill you and take your car. It was carjacking, and I'm like, seriously? He's like, yeah. And it was just, a lot of gang activity, a lot of drugs there. It was really bad.
Now, let's just say for a second that you were asked to take over as Tulsa's mayor. Just a fun game. A fun game we're playing here. The game is called What If You Were the Mayor of Two Cities Simultaneously? That's the fun game we're playing here.
Okay.
Seriously, Mayor Craig, what would you do to make the city more safe right away? What are some of the basic moves that you've tried to do in Broken Arrow, specific moves? Because you've obviously improved the safety of Broken Arrow quite a bit during your tenure. What do you need to do?
Well, I think that you have to change the culture and how employees feel about their job and how the citizens feel about the employees. I think that's really important to do. And I did live in Southern California, so I know what that's like and what it's like to be unsafe. But I think you really have to take a very hard look towards crime. And not tolerate it, and not having any tolerance for crime is tough to do. But that's one thing that we've done in Broken Arrow, and it's been
so. What kind of
key.
Crime do you not have tolerance for? Just so I kind of understand what you're saying.
Well, any type of crime, violent crime, whether it's rapes or murders. For a city our size of around 115,000 people, when you have one murder a year, that's pretty good.
What about people that are peeing into the wind on Main Street?
No, that's not a very smart thing to do, but we don't. And trying to control any kind of criminal element, whether they're doing breaking and enterings or property crimes or even breaking into cars, anything like that. We don't tolerate that.
What was the count on total number last year of peeing into the wind on Main Street? Do you guys keep a count on that? Police department.
I have not heard of any of those happening.
I'm bringing.
Well, Clay, there was you. I mean, that's one we know of.
Well, when you're streaking, you never know what direction the wind's going, and I'm staying very hydrated. No, but listen to this. I was in Detroit with my dad years ago, and we go into a Subway sandwich restaurant.
Yeah. And
there's a homeboy not peeing like behind a dumpster or behind the building or discreetly off to the side. I get it if nature calls and you can't find a restroom. I understand these ideas.
Yeah.
But this guy is just straight up taking a whiz in front of the Subway, and everybody who's seated is looking at him because he's peeing facing the windows.
Oh, Lord.
And I'm going, wow.
Yeah.
Also, there's like random windows missing in Detroit in these businesses. And they have they have plywood up over the windows.
A lot of burned
This
out
is
buildings.
pre-COVID, pre-riots, This is just what it is.
Yep.
Right.
It's like a Mad Max video.
Yep.
Right. You can't let things get out of control, and you can't let property get dilapidated. Those kind of things you have to keep.
How much safer has Broken Arrow become? Could you even quantify that or explain how much safer you've made the city? Because you've been mayor now for how long?
I've been the mayor. This is my ninth year. I've been on the council 19 years.
Wow.
We started 19 years ago because the city wasn't focusing on public safety at the time. And so I started a nonprofit group, a 501c3 called Concerned Citizens for the City of Broken Arrow.
Yeah.
And we started buying things like throw bags for the fire trucks so they could get people out of ponds that were drowning. And we bought a ladder for the SOT team so they could get up to a second floor and rescue someone. And so we started doing things, and every time we did something, the media brought attention to the fact that the city wasn't doing that. And so now the city does all that. The city does equip their officers. They all have ARs in their vehicles. We have a very good SOT team. We have vehicles.
You're throwing out abbreviations real quick. I'll make sure I understand. You said R. Is that a pirate talk? What's an AR?
AR is a automatic, it's a semi-automatic rifle.
Okay, I was wondering where you're going with the whole pirate theme. I'm like, that sounds cool. Maybe
Like
maybe
an AR-15.
Oh, I wasn't sure if that was helping to build the culture. Arr! Broken Arrow.
What is SOT?
Special Operations Team, or like a SWAT team. It's our SOT team.
Can I? He's messing with you. It's called SOT. That's what it stands for. Is SOT.
Oh, just for SOT.
That's what it stands for.
SOT team.
Okay,
yeah.
no, seriously, it's SWAT team.
Yeah, it's our version of a SWAT team, a Special Operations Team, and they're called out when we have a crime that.
How come you're not SWAT? Why is it SOT?
A lot of cities call them Special Operations Teams. I don't know why we don't
Probably
call
why
them a
we're
SWAT
11th
team, but
Probably why we're the 11th safest.
yeah,
Probably part of the.
they unfortunately don't get fortunately and unfortunately don't get called very much. For them, they'd like to have more activity, but we don't have a lot of crime, which is really good.
Question I have for the listeners right now: do you want to live in a safe Broken Arrow? If you do live in Broken Arrow and you want Broken Arrow to continue to be safe, do the right thing. Get into the election places, the polling places, and vote and re-elect Mayor Craig Thurmond. And I hate to burst anybody's bubble out there who has aspirations of becoming the mayor of Broken Arrow sometime in the near future. But the pay's not that great. I mean, for Broken Arrow mayor, currently, when you add it up, you do the math, you start to, Aaron, what you do is you get out a graphing calculator and you put in the numbers. So, Mayor Craig, how much money do you get paid per year?
0.
You add the 0, you carry the 1, you divide. You multiply it, Aaron?
Well, you multiply that by 9 because he's been doing it for 9 years.
Oh, so you take the 0, you multiply it by 9.
Yeah, and that gives you a total of what
Zero-
was it, Mayor?
$0.
Okay.
So you're not doing it
everyone
for the
in
money.
council volunteers, yes.
Unbelievable. So again, folks, this is a guy, he's a civil servant. He loves our country. He's making Broken Arrow safe. Mayor Craig, where can people vote for you? What's the date they need to get in and actually get out there and vote for you?
April 6th of this year, 2021.
April 6th, coming up fast.
They can get out and vote, and they go to the regular precinct and vote.
And what's your website one more time if people want to learn more about you?
MayorCraigThurmond.com.
MayorCraigThurmond.com?
Yes.
Do you have any close ties to Antifa?
No, I don't know anything, anyone in Antifa or a whole lot about it other than what I read. So, yeah, we have no ties to Antifa.
Well, you never know because the mayors of certain cities now have ties and political ties to a lot of these terrorist organizations, and it's good to know that you don't. I'm asking the tough questions. People want to know.
Okay, they definitely want to know that about their mayor.
You're on the record saying you're not a part of Antifa?
I'm not part of Antifa and never will be.
Do you side with the cops or Antifa whenever there's a dispute? Because that's a controversial thing right now in New York.
Yeah.
The mayor's siding with Antifa.
I side with the cops, and we had someone sent me an email when they had this summer the defund police, and I said the only way we're going to change the funding is if we increase our funding for our police.
Amen, amen, and amen, folks.
Yes.
Vote for Mayor Craig Thurmond. Sir, I appreciate you being here, and we're going to end the show with a boom. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.